Hello SGD, Sacred Geometry Decoded, and I'll add this to the 30 free playlist, and I'll be looking more at the numbers of there. So in Goulburn Street, Sydney, across the road from the, it's no longer there, basement 33, but just a little interesting point, but Disneyland Club 33, very important, interesting number, but why 33? And even just, for instance, the Wikipedia page has most of the interesting things in regards to why this particular number is, well, of special interest. Firstly, so in binary, it's 1000001, which means, so 33 in binary or base 2, which is in itself, it's a palindrome, so it's like race car, or laminate pet animal, or as I say pizza, same backwards as forwards. And there's some more to go to that. Now, but also in, doesn't mention it, but in 33, base 10, that's how we'd write 33, but in base 33 numeration, it's 10. So there's a nice little repeat thing going on there. It's also the smallest odd rep digit. That is not a prime number. This has to do with number theories, but recreational number theory as well. The sum of divisors of the first six positive integers, and that it's the first six, we'll come to that later, but it's interesting. So, 1 can only be divided by 1, 2 you can divide by 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 4 can be divided by 2, 4, 2 and 1, etc. You add up the first 6 and you get 33. We'll come to this again later. Smallest positive integer that is yet to be represented as a cubed plus b cubed plus c cubed. There is conjecture that 33 can be represented this way. I'll put a link in the description in regards to the puzzle of 33, a number file video which talks about that a little bit more. It's also the sum of the first 4 positive factorials. We'll get into that as well. So we have some of these are the interesting properties of the number 33. And now I put this link in how to draw a pentagon or a pentagram, because in this series I did on pentagrams. So why 33 connects with the pentagram? Well, 33 degrees, but let's say this number 288 especially, which I linked. So let's look at the 6/5 ratio, which is so important. So a seed of life to get the hexagon, it's the 6-sided poly. Seed of life and the 6/5, the macro, so the microcosm and the macrocosm as well is often represented as 6s and 5s. And so there we have the seed of life, which gives you that divides the circle perfectly up into 6, so you get the Star of David. Then we can use those points to divide up into a 12-pointed star now, from a 6 to a 12-pointed star. And that's a good way to draw a 12-hour clock, but it also good at 30 degrees, 360 divided by 12, 30 degrees, but also the zodiac connection, also the 12 months of a year. It also forms a geometry to get your very good Knights of Malta across. And then from the 12-pointed, then we can divide it up again to get a 24-pointed star. So we have both the Knights of Malta and the a Templar cross coming from there. So now we've divided it up into 15. So if we put that on top of the compass wheel there, and so we start with the axis at 360, but if we set the axis to 288, what happens is with this 15-degree division, now we have 273 degrees. Equilateral triangle, we get 33 degrees and 153. Covered these, especially 153 is well known. 273, there's a mountain of really important stuff going on there, but they are connected. In the pentagram series and others I've covered it, but let's just move on. So from the pentagram and this 33, 153, 273, which brings us back to the basic number properties of 33. So to begin with, 33, 153 and 273, there I have it in binary. And what's going on there? Well, we have back to the thing of 33 being a palindrome in binary, same backwards as forwards. The smallest odd Rep digit, it is not a prime number, so yep, and base 33 and base 10, but there's more, especially with palindromes. And like as in, well, race car or laminate pet animal and all these other palindromes, examples, same backwards as forwards. There are 10 kinds of people, those who understand binary and those who don't. So, okay, well, binary in 10 in binary is 2, so that's where that 10, it's actually, so there are 2 kinds of people in binary, but like so 33 degrees, 1 0 0 0 0 1, same backwards as forwards. 153, 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 1, same backwards as forwards. 273 is a binary, also same backwards as forwards. In hexadecimal, base 16. 153 is 99, so same backwards as forwards. And especially 273, there are a lot of examples of that, which is interesting. Now, so it makes 33 interesting, especially in that way, and also again connects these particular sets of numbers, 153, 273, all very sun, earth, and moon. Different bands of the sun revolve at different speeds, so depending on where you are, north or south of the equator of the sun, on the sun, if you could stand there, the length of day is different, but at 33 days is one of a sun day is also 33 days. But 33, smallest positive integer, which is yet to be represented as a cubed plus b cubed plus c cubed. There's that number file video that talks about that, but this is also this a cubed plus b cubed plus c cubed, because this will actually link especially 153 and 288. For instance, 1 cubed plus 3 cubed plus 5 cubed is 153. 153 is this lovely narcissistic number. So that's 135. But if we look at the others, 2, 4, and 6, which I mentioned earlier, the divisors of the first 6 numbers, that up to 33. Well, 2 cubed plus 4 cubed plus 6 cubed is 288. So what you find is that 33 cannot be done, or it's the smallest, and yet these other numbers link up nicely to there. Also, what's his name? Daniel, recent this comment, like, well, 1 squared plus 4 squared plus 4 squared is 33 as well, which is 144 is also this pentagram angle. The sum of the first 4 positive factorials, so 1 factorial plus 2 factorial plus 3 plus 4, there you get 1 plus 2 plus 6 plus 24 is 33. 288 is the multiplication of the first 4 positive factorials. So again, it's this nice link connecting. And this, okay, so now we'll look at the alchemists, hermeticists, and the emerald tablet, and the corpus hermeticum, and for instance Heinrich Kunrath. Now you can look at any of the alchemists, hermeticists of that period, and you'll find that they've got the same thing. Essentially, it's in Kabbalah as well. The tetractys and the tetragrammaton, which is, let's say, in Kabbalah, but also in Pythagorean schools. Another one by Heinrich Kunrath, where it's clearly stated that he's got this 1, 2, 3, 4 layered triangle. Athanasius Kircher, and then the 3, 4, 5 triangle, the magic square of 15. The pendulum is also, the cherub's also got a ruler there, and well, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the same representations by these, all these hermeticists, whether it was John Dee, Heinrich Kunrath, Edmund Gunther, were all teachers or professors or very interested in Euclidean geometry. But the tetragrammaton and the tetractys, the same thing. And so it's also triangular numbers. So 1, the second triangular number is 3, so 1, 2, 3. The third triangular number is 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The fourth is 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that was also this, so again, 33, 288, how they nicely link. The largest positive integer that cannot be expressed as a sum of different triangular numbers. So the smallest or the largest, 33, is this really interesting number in this way that It can or it cannot be, but also, well, in this cursor drawing also we see the 6/5. And why does that connect? We'll see that. So this 6/5 diagram, so Dürer as well, if you look into the geometry of Albrecht Dürer, brings us back to the hexagon and the pentagon. So, well, the seed of life now, which will bring us to the tree of life. So we see seed of life, draw your line through get your axis going. Where the lines intersect, you mark out your points. And we have the tree of life. There we just drop it on top. So there we have how from the seed of life you can draw the tree of life. Except one spot is missing. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Sephiro, and there are 22 paths joining. So you can even see, so 10 Sephiro and 32, so including the paths you have 32. However, what they call the hidden Sephiro or dart is, as you can see, that's where it's, so most drawings won't have it, but when you draw it with a seed of life, you can see it's actually being marked out. There are other drawings which do include it and speak of it as well. So if you include the hidden Sephiro, you have 33 combined paths and Sephiro on the tree of life. It's also worth noting that a soccer ball is made up of 12 pentagrams and 20 hexagons to fuse, to create this three-dimensional shape. So what you have is 32 panels surrounding the 33rd central core. Now also, because you have 12 pentagons, that's a dodecahedron as well. So 12 around the 13th, 33 over 32 on the Scottish Rite, 13 over 12 on the York Rite as well. So 2 to 3-dimensional. So 33 defines a tree of life, 33 bones on the spinal column, including the fused bones. Californian Vara being one example, 33 inches, as well as a unit of land measure. Whether that emerged from Spanish legacy or, well, it's the origin of that would be interesting, but again, just another example of this usage of it in weights and measures as well. So the links between the 6 and 5 geometry, the seed of life, hexagons, pentagons, and the mathematical and the symbolic representations of what makes 33 so important. So symbols can be argued, because you can say it's arbitrary that a symbol has this particular meaning. But when it comes to the math and the geometry, these are universal laws. It doesn't matter where you are, when you are. This is the nature insists on it, and this could be, I would say. I'll link this in the description, how to draw a perfect pentagram. And it's just interesting that these different shapes, geometry, symbols, all do have these very nice mathematical geometric connections, which I would say is probably the inspiration for why it appears in so many cultures across time, and why certain units of measurement would measure up to it. Because if they're studying the math or the geometry, these are guiding laws of the universe. Let's say it's built into nature. So if you were to set up a political or, let's say, a religious structure, you'd be looking at nature. You'd be looking above, as above, so below, and you see that these same math and geometry is repeated. It's all, well, something's going on here. There's something deeper in there. And so especially like why certain numbers across different cultures, different religions, consistently repeated. The same measurements are repeated in Hindu, Buddhist, Catholic, Christian. You'll also find it in the oldest mosques as well, where 108 feet, and the same which you'll find in these ancient temples are in later temples and mosques and churches and so forth. And, well, that's the math, I would say, is probably the most important foundation stone of it. Now, exactly why, can't say, but once they're all into their quadrivium, And anyway, with that 33, hope you have a